Simon Elson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from around the country. The case that challenges the Affordable Care Act's contraceptive requirement for employers is going back to the lower courts. After hearing oral arguments from both sides in March, the Supreme Court announced their unanimous decision on May 16th to send the Zubik versus Burwell case back to the lower courts. The court made clear that it is not expressing an opinion, and it is also not ruling on the issue of the potential violation of religious freedom. The court stated that religious employers and the government should be afforded an opportunity to accommodate petitioners' religious exercise while ensuring that women receive full and equal health coverage, including contraceptive coverage. Zubik versus Burwell involves a number of religious groups, including the Little Sisters of the Poor, the Pennsylvania Diocese of Pittsburgh and Erie, and the Archdiocese of Washington. These groups who do not fit the exemption to the contraceptive mandate argued that providing contraceptive coverage, even indirectly through a third party, still violates their religious beliefs. More news now from around the country. During graduation ceremonies on May 15th, the University of Notre Dame conferred its Laetare Medal on Vice President Joe Biden and former House Speaker John Boehner. The awarding of the medal, which is to honor Catholics for outstanding service to church and society, had come under fire by some who believe Vice President Biden to be an inappropriate awardee because of his stand on abortion and his support of same-sex marriage, and by others who believe Boehner to be an inappropriate awardee as well because of his support for the death penalty. During his remarks at the ceremony, Notre Dame President Holy Cross Father John Jenkins said that both recipients have taken positions about which many among us have reservations, and in some cases grave moral reservations. But he said they awarded the medal not to endorse positions Biden and Boehner had taken, but because they've given their lives to serve the common good in political leadership. Now to news from the Vatican. Pope Francis celebrated Pentecost Mass at the Vatican on Sunday. Rome Reports has more on the Pope's remarks.
During Pentecost Mass, the Pope said that in today's world, people live in an orphanage. He said the aspiration to live without God leaves a deep longing in men of the 21st century. A man who does not know God, his Father, and also does not know how to address him because he has nobody to teach him to pray. Today, said Francis, there is a great spiritual illiteracy.
Quel diffuso analfabetismo spirituale per cui ci ritroviamo incapaci di pregare. Quella difficoltà a sentire vera e reale la vita eterna come pienezza di comunione che germoglia e che sboccia oltre la morte. A tutto questo si oppone la condizione di figli, che è la nostra vocazione originaria, e ciò per cui siamo fatti, il nostro più profondo DNA.
That same day, the Vatican announced the Pope's message for World Mission Day to be held in October. In it, Pope Francis highlights the work done by women missionaries and also that in times of crisis, injustice, and war, it is especially important to evangelize.
Another story from around the country. 2 U.S. Catholic bishops are speaking out against the Obama administration's recent directive on transgender access to bathrooms that treats a student's gender identity as a student's sex. In a statement, Bishop Richard Malone of Buffalo, New York, who is chairman of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Laity, Marriage, Family Life, and Youth, and Archbishop George Lucas of Omaha, Nebraska, who is chairman of the USCCB's Committee on Catholic Education, noted that the Church affirms the dignity of each and every human person and advocates for the well-being of all people, particularly the most vulnerable. But they said this directive fails to address a number of important concerns and contradicts a basic understanding of human formation, so well expressed by Pope Francis, that the young need to be helped to accept their own body as it was created. The directive was issued by the U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Department of Education. The departments said it applies to all public schools and colleges and universities that received federal funding. And finally in the news, Pfizer is banning the supply of its drugs for executions. The pharmaceutical giant, in a position statement, said some of its drugs are not meant to be used for executions and that it would restrict those drugs' availability to government agencies that might use them for lethal injections. The company said they make their products to enhance and save the lives of patients, and that consistent with these values, Pfizer strongly objects to the use of its products as lethal injections for capital punishment. The statement said Pfizer would restrict sales of 7 specific drugs to a select group of wholesalers, distributors, and direct purchasers under the condition that they will not resell these products to correctional institutions for use in lethal injections. Well, that's all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.